So today's a big day. Today it's still a big day, even though the day for me is long. What happened? Well, if you don't know that, then I'm not sure what you're doing here. But Mainnet went live. I mean, no, not a big deal really, right? After all this time, I guess it is. It's been a long time coming, that's for sure. So, figured that I'd do a Twitch. I haven't done a Twitch for a while. I'm not really in the middle of anything, obviously. Rick's just gone live. Figured it would be a good time to log in, say hey. How's everyone doing? Maybe dish out some freebie XRD. We can do it on the Twitch, all nice and live. People can then maybe see for reals how fast finality happens in the network. So you'll be able to see me. I know, send a couple of XRD with a nice message attached, and then you'll see it pop in your end if you've got the Radix wallet. If you don't have the Radix wallet, of course, then you can get it from here. You can go there, get a wallet, and then if you want to post your address in the chat, then I'll furnish you with an XRD. You're only getting one though, because I'm a bit cheap. I only have 200. So I'm not going to be splashing the cash today. I need some of that to buy a celebratory bottle of rum as well. So I'm going to spend most of it if I don't give it away anyway. So who's here? Anyone? I've got 7 viewers. I guess everyone's busy getting freebie Radix tokens. Oh wow, Telegram's getting crazy. Yeah, come join me on Twitch. So who we got? Anyone here? Any regulars? It's been a while. I did tweet Radix Mainnet is live. On the tweet for this impromptu Twitch session. Thank you, Cobra. It's a big day. Very big day. Everyone's earned a break. Not that we'll get one, but people can be at least safe in the knowledge that they've earned one, even if they don't get it. No one ever sleeps around here. Crazy. So anyway, I've got the Radix Olympia desktop wallet up and running, and Adam was very kind to send me some XRD. So I've got a message attached. I've only got 201. I was expecting more. I wanted to retire, but evidently I'm not allowed. I don't think 201 XRD is going to get me very far. So unfortunately, you're all stuck with me a bit longer. So anyone want an XRD? Post your address if you haven't got the wallet. If you have got the wallet, post your address. If you haven't, you can get it from wallet radixdlt.com. People want to send me XRD. Sure, let's get that retirement fund going. Don't be shy, don't be cheap. Send me some XRD. I don't have any of my own, you see. I either have to beg marketing for some or go and buy them. Oh, they have new guidelines on cameos. Probably crypto not allowed, right? Is that one of the new guidelines? Probably for the best, to be honest. Woohoo! 0.1 XRD. Okay, that's not going to get me very far. But thank you anyway. Every little helps. Congrats, thank you. Testing, yes. So anyway, yeah, I'm back on Twitch, although I'm not sure how regular this is going to be at the moment. I'm working on lots of things. And yeah, I mean, I just figured this would be good. If there was a day to jump on Twitch for a little while, that was today. So I'm working on a bunch of stuff at the moment. I'm working on some very comprehensive documentation for the state model, which is very relevant, obviously, to Scripto and the Babylon release. So kind of wrapping up all the state model stuff. Some of you guys may remember this thing called Cassandra from a couple of months ago that I was doing. So Cassandra was a research R&D network to just try some things out, mainly for Xi'an and beyond. But obviously we also have some fairly interesting stuff on the roadmap as well coming over the next year or so. And one of those things is obviously Scripto and components and all that kind of stuff. The Radix engine v2, all that kind of all that jazz, all that exciting stuff. And so I've been working a lot on the state model as well, and what the state model should look like, and how that potentially feeds into Scripto, what we need to think about, what features we're going to need, what features do we want, what features are we able to do. So that's one of the things I've been working on. I'm going to be having some meetings with the team in a couple of weeks now that Mainnet is finally out there. Didn't want to distract the team too much, so I've kind of been working in my own little silo. Then also been working on the formal paper for Cassandra, so that we can get some peer review on that, and kind of figure out from Cassandra, what do we want to use from Cassandra, what bits and pieces are useful down the line for Xi'an and the later networks and the revisions from that. Also working on some hot stuff improvements as well. So yeah, I've been a busy boy. And also, what else am I working on? There's something else I'm working on. I'm so tired. It's been a bit crazy. There's something else I'm working on as well, but I forgot what it is now. I'm sure I'll remember at some point. So yes, that's why there hasn't been any Twitch streams as well. Because really been just getting into the theory. Cassandra got to the point where it was at a good point to start writing some of this stuff up and to dig into deeper from a theoretical point of view. We did a lot of empirical testing, obviously. We did some Twitter demonstrations. We did the Angry Birds deployment thing, like who can forget that. I did a bunch of chatbot stuff, which I've still got to demonstrate, actually. I didn't actually get around to demonstrating that. But Cassandra as a initial prototype was far enough along for me to have enough confidence that the direction that it was going in had enough interesting stuff that I could start to write it up into technical documents to discuss with the team and theoretical papers and that kind of stuff. So I should get most of that done throughout August. So at some point in August, I'll start to go back into Cassandra code and start to push the limits of some of this theory a little bit more and see where the limits are. As per the Genesis message and the Genesis atom from Arthur C. Clarke, where obviously to find the limits of the possible, you have to venture beyond them into the impossible. That's the essence of this project, really, right? And the essence of Cassandra and the essence of all the iterations of things that we've done over the years, tempo, cast, etc. Go a bit crazy, follow the rabbit hole, follow the breadcrumbs, and see what learnings come out the other side. So Cassandra stuff fire up again at some point during August, and then we'll do some more cool stuff with that, and see where we go. Thank you for all the messages. I'm not sure if I should click the encrypted message. I have a feeling, I've experienced here with the community that these kind of things generally tend to be not safe for work or for public viewing. So I'm gonna view that offline. I'm not gonna take the risk here. There's probably a number of people that remember. Yeah, it's safe. I've heard that one before. Yeah, the old marketplace, etc. I'm sure there's a few members that were participants in that ruse when I was giving a meeting. So yeah, I'll open it afterwards. Don't worry. Okay, let's read some of the messages in here. Am I taking a vacation anytime soon? Hopefully. Depends on COVID, though. I mean, I did have vacations planned over the past 12 months. None of them happened because of COVID. I've had to move them. So I think the soonest opportunity I'm going to get one is October, assuming it doesn't get cancelled and moved. So probably just do some weekends away in the UK with the fam, and kind of catch up on some English weather, some English outside, which it'd be good. There's some nice places in the UK, weather permitting. Am I overwhelmed? I wouldn't say I'm overwhelmed. I'm a bit wired. It's been a tough few months for various reasons for everybody in Radix. So for me though, it's a little bit surreal, I guess, that it's finally, it's there, right? There's a deployed network after all this time, which is, it just feels a bit surreal, a bit strange. This is step one of many still to do, to be able to execute the entirety of the vision that I had. We'll get there, and we should start to move quickly. Now we know exactly what we've got to do. We've solved either empirically or theoretically or both all of the issues that need to be solved for us to get to that vision. There's still obviously implementation decisions to make, such as like the state model, right? There's still decisions to make there and to review what the state model needs to look like. But from a fundamentals point of view, we have all that nailed down. But yeah, I mean, it's weird. Somebody had told me in 2013 it would be an 8-year-long journey. I would probably have scoffed in their faces and been like, "That was silly." But hey, it's how it turned out, right? You've got to spend the time, go down the rabbit holes, figure it out. This is a much harder problem than I envisaged, and also a lot of people in this space envisaged it to be as well. There's a lot of projects with a lot of smart people that have been looking at this scalability trilemma for years now. So I think I think we all underestimated it. If I look back in the past 8 years, would I do anything differently if I got a chance again? With hindsight, of course I would. With hindsight, I probably would. Nothing really too major though, just minor things, and things that took a lot of time that ultimately didn't really get anywhere, such as the patent, for example. I probably wouldn't have done that. At the time, it seemed like a smart decision. It seemed like a good way to provide us with potentially revenue in the future, to do private deployments and things like that, and for licensing and all that kind of stuff, which you can do. You can do that with open source code. You can still own a patent on the technology, and you have the ability to license depending on some criteria. You can do that, but it was a big time soak. So I probably wouldn't do that. That's one of the things. What else wouldn't I do? Probably wouldn't have gone to as many conferences as I did. In the early days, I don't tend to go to them very much now, but in the early days, it seemed like that would be a good means to get the word out. But ultimately, that didn't turn out to be the case. Had some good parties though. I mean, I wouldn't change the parties. Conference parties, crypto conference parties, let's be honest, are at a different level. But from a kind of a networking awareness point of view, they weren't really worthwhile because there was still, unbeknownst to me, there was still quite a lot of work to do on the technology side. And so trying to promote something that's still in R&D at a conference probably wasn't a good idea either. So yeah, there are a few things that I would do differently. But overall, I mean, you've got to put in the work. You've got to follow the journey, and before you get to the goal, right? And this particular journey required a few iterations of technology to learn new things and to find out what wouldn't work, to push into the impossible, as it were, and get things wrong, so that it can be learned from, and you can build those learnings into your next stab at the technology, right, that you're building. I mean, if this technology was easy, then it would have been done already. Somebody would already be out there with a network that can scale and solves the trilemma and is secure and fast and is easy to build upon and has atomic cross-shard composability or whatever. But nobody does, right? Just like it took decades for somebody to come along and solve the double spending problem. Consensus really hadn't changed much between the kind of late 70s, early 80s. Nothing had really changed in the way that consensus mechanisms worked or the theory behind it until Satoshi came along. But then the double spending problem was a hard problem to solve in a permissionless and trustless environment. So it took that long for somebody to figure it out. So yeah, getting a bit deep there, I suppose. But we're here now. Let's read some more messages. I'm not going to be taking a break this month, other than maybe a weekend here and there. I've got quite a lot of stuff on my plate to get through for August. Some big team gatherings and meetings and stuff. So there's a bunch of stuff that I'm working on for those. And it's a little bit past due to go over this stuff with the team, but the team have been, very busy. They didn't want me coming along and distracting them with future stuff that's a little bit down the road. Few words about Piers and the team. I mean, can I say they've done a cracking job here. I've been at the loop for a little while. I had some family stuff going on as well recently, which made things a little bit difficult. And the team have just picked up and ran with it. They've achieved a lot in 18 months. I mean, like, let's think about this, right? So, we're using hot stuff as our initial consensus mechanism for Olympia, Alexandria, and Babylon. And as far as I'm aware, it's the first deployed version of hot stuff that's been implemented from scratch. I may be wrong. I know Libra were looking at using hot stuff, and they did a lot of work on that implementation as well. But I believe that ours is the first one to go into a mainnet. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not claiming that title at all. I'm just trying to point out that to go from open new file, say 18 months ago, to have a deployed implementation from scratch of a complicated piece of technology that is hot stuff is quite an achievement. So, I mean, yeah, the amount of effort involved to do that with a small team as well, a small tight team, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's been done, and done on time, right? This is also important. We did have obviously the 2-week delay, but that wasn't because the technology wasn't ready. That was third-party dependencies that we needed to be ensured that, like InstaBridge and InstaPass and all these things. The technology 2 weeks ago was ready to go out the door. Not 2 weeks ago. The 30th of June, wasn't it? That's it. So like a month ago, right? 4 weeks ago. It was all ready to go. So the team actually delivered all of that complexity on time. So massive kudos points. I hope they've all booked some holidays actually, because they're definitely going to need them. And peers as well, obviously. Like, you know, it's not just about the tech team, it's about peers and all the biz dev guys, the marketing team, everybody who's kind of behind the scenes or in biz. I mean, everybody's worked crazy. Peers obviously as well had 2 operations recently as well. So I mean, yeah, that's not good. Having to have 2 major operations and then still see through and manage all these moving parts of a delivery. So yeah, everyone's absolutely worried this out. What upcoming part of Radix development do you find the most interesting? Oh, I mean, there's so many cool things moving at the moment. I mean, like, script is going to be massive, right? This whole kind of builder, component, Lego bricks kind of thing, Radix Engine version 2 and all that stuff is like, that really is the key to having a successful DeFi ecosystem, right? You don't want your developers worrying about how do I construct this? Do I have to look for like memory overflows and all that kind of difficult stuff that you get with a low level language? It's kind of like building a website in HTML and then having to worry about what TCP/IP is doing underneath, right? You don't want to give a shit about any of that. You don't want to be down there, right? You don't want the responsibility of making sure that the packets for your website response for a request get to the right place and that they do so in a timely fashion. You don't want to worry about that. You just want to worry about, okay, building my page and, you know, sending my visitors to the bits they want to go in, and, you know, making sure it's nice and it works and it provides utility. You don't want to be spending all your time faffing around with IP stacks and that kind of stuff, which is very much how it is at the moment with DeFi, right? You know, 10% of a DeFi developer's time is spent building his application, and the other 90% is making sure that he hasn't screwed anything up and all the low-level stuff. You don't want that. You just want to spend 90% of your time building your application and 10% of your time worrying about, okay, did I do this right? You know, some edge cases that I need to take care of, but from an application point of view, not from an execution or a consensus or a network point of view. That shouldn't be a developer's responsibility here, right? Just like in the same way as if I'm making an application for Windows or Linux, I don't have to worry about what the kernel's doing. It's just doing its thing, and I'm just isolated away from it. So obviously, all of that's extremely exciting. And then on the back of that, of course, once that starts to really take hold and get some traction, and the ecosystem starts to grow, then that's when you need to start thinking about all the scaling, right? Can we handle the load? Like, again, I think, was it yesterday with the what was that new Stoner Cats or whatever it was that was launched? Again, you know, Ethereum got crippled by the popularity of that, and I read somewhere that 800,000 ETH was basically wasted on fees, but the transactions failed. I mean, you don't want that, right? You don't want that at all in your ecosystem. You don't want that for the application developers. You don't want that for your users. So obviously, all the scale, that's exciting to me as well, as I'm sure it is everybody else. And then, I mean, yeah, all the stuff that just comes on the back of that then as well is like, you know, once you have that ecosystem, once you have your DeFi ecosystem that's growing and is very comprehensive, and you can pull users in, and you can deal with the scale, and it's secure, and it's working fast, and it's a good user experience, then you can potentially think about, okay, so we've got this tech, and we can start to push out into other arenas as well, right? I'm sure many of you have seen the Twitter demonstrations that I did on Cassandra, and deploying like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. I like the Flappy Bird thing, right? I can deploy websites, and I can deploy content that's interactive, and I can do all these other things as well. It's like all that stuff as well. You start to really just build an ecosystem around an ecosystem then, right? You could have hosted DeFi application front ends and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, there's just so much to come, so much exciting stuff to come. But I think right now, taking an hour review, those two things are what get me excited. Bringing in the developers, watching the ecosystem grow, and then being able to allow it to continue to grow at whatever rate it wants to grow at. Okay, that was a bit of a ramble, wasn't it? I mean, I'm sure you guys don't mind. You've had 2 months of me not coming on here and rambling, so I may as well make up a little bit for it. Yeah, I was like Twitch is my de facto presentation for things. I just haven't had really a lot to present recently. So yeah, any kind of like milestones that are presentation worthy, either from a demonstration or just a conversation. Here's some infographic on this thing, right? Let's talk about it. It's really cool to do those kind of demonstrations and stuff on Twitch, because I can get some feedback from you guys in the chats, and it's able to obviously host a lot more people than, say, a Zoom call or something. So yeah, on Scripto and everything else that's coming down the pipe, I'm sure I'll be doing various presentations of that over the coming months and years, and until I'm grey, which I'm not far off actually. Look at this, some real proper grey stubble. I'm not sure if that's grey stubble or if that's from excessive chin. We've been trying to figure things out. I've just worn all the dye off my hair. Oh wow! To all these transactions, I'm going to be able to buy that speedboat soon. Wow! Thanks, guys. Keep it coming. Hey guys, let's make history. Thank you. Congratulations on this amazing milestone. Dan, the king of crypto tech. Oh, you're too kind. Flattery will get you everywhere in life. Cedric was here. One day this will be enough to buy yourself an oat cake. Yeah, I suppose I can get an oat cake and then get the speedboat. Someone's put Radix Mainnet is live. I guess this is the message to all you Twitch guys that are watching currently. So yeah, follow those instructions. Thank you for all your work. You rock. Your time to shine is coming. Thank you very much. Radix Mainnet is live. Where's my max button? I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe underneath your pillow. Congratulations. Thank you. Encrypted message. Yeah, we're going to leave that till later. Cool. You'll be rich soon. Maybe. I don't deal with hiring anymore. I don't deal with a lot of things at Radix anymore. It's just too big and too fluid for me to deal with. So your best bet is to get in touch with the marketing guys and see if we have a need for someone to manage the French community. How big is the French community at the moment? And where do they reside? I'm guessing there's a Telegram channel and maybe a Discord or something. Whiskey time. Rum time. It's rum time. Although I did have a good whiskey the other day on my birthday. It was Gentleman Jack. I highly recommend anybody that's into their whiskey samples a Gentleman Jack. Good looking hat today. Yeah, unfortunately, I meant to pick up the infamous Adidas one this morning, and I picked the wrong one up. So this is a Barber one, but I'd kind of decided this morning I was going to do an impromptu Twitch around the time that the network went live, and so yeah, I meant to bring the other one. Well, I mean, this'll do, right? I'm sure somebody can Photoshop the relevant logo up there. Damn, my Twitter's going crazy. I mean, just absolutely crazy. I mean, I've been so busy that I haven't even been on Twitter for almost 2 months as well. Just been trying to get all this theoretical stuff going on, and lots of interesting conversations as well with Expo Labs. All that stuff still been happening as well. Some really good stuff going to come out of there soon. I mentioned a bit earlier in the stream. The feeling is a bit of surreal, really. I I need to sleep and wake up tomorrow, and the network is live for it to maybe sink in. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I wish it hadn't taken as long, but you know, it takes the amount of time that it takes. So I mean, I meant to send some XRD around, but if all you guys are happy just sending it me and having your messages engraved forever in a Twitch stream that will be saved and uploaded to YouTube, then you know who am I to complain? Okay, I'm gonna see if there's anything I missed in the comments because I've kind of jumped around a little bit. I don't think there is. I think I've got most of them. Bigger day arrived, taking a break, no, we're doing that. Yeah, I think I've got everyone's questions covered. So the message in the oh yeah, Perceptions. Hey, welcome back. Long time no see. I'm glad you're still following us around. The message of the Genesis was an Arthur C. Clarke quote. So there's basically 3 laws attributed to Arthur C. Clarke, and the first one, it's quite long. I always forget what it is. Basically goes along the lines of an aged and experienced scientist that says something is possible, he is probably correct. But if the same scientist says that something is impossible, then he's probably wrong. And then that just really isn't relevant, right? And then the other one that I didn't go for because it felt a little bit arrogant, really. And while I have no qualms letting the arrogance out every now and then, I felt that having it forever in there in the ledger probably wouldn't be a good idea. So the other one is any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And then the one that I went for was to discover the limits of the possible, you have to go somewhat past them into the impossible, which I felt summed up the project and what we've been trying to do and all the things we've had to solve quite well. You know, it's I think it captures the essence of the journey quite well, and I actually spent quite a lot of time obsessing over what the Genesis message should be. Most things I came up with were either incredibly cheesy, incredibly arrogant or egoistic, or just didn't feel relevant at all. And I actually spent an entire day on Wikipedia, looking at kind of like there's a list on Wikipedia of all like the laws and theorems and postulates that famous scientists and philosophers and whatnot have said over the years. You know, you've got things like Moore's law is in there, Occam's razor, and all these kind of things. Spent an entire day going through all of them to try and get some inspiration or find the perfect quote. There's hundreds and hundreds of them, and came across the one from Arthur C. Clarke, and that's perfect. That's the one I need. So yeah, that's where it is. So yeah, I really got to the point where I was thinking I'm just overthinking this. What am I going to do? What am I going to have is the Genesis message, but I think that one's okay. I'm happy with it, and the team are happy with it too. So more questions. Yeah, why is the rum always gone? Yeah, because you drink it, that's why. I'm getting some Slack pings. Hold on, one message. Just in case I'm required for something. This is very impromptu, and I only told Adam that I was doing it. No, everything seems good, I think. Yep, all good. You don't have to dash off just yet. I'm trying to win $10,000. Do I know any cryptos that include atomic composability in their roadmap? Is this a trick question? Or or is this a legitimate thing that's happening somewhere in the crypto landscape? I mean, I feel like this is a trick question. I should just say, Radix. It's a legit contest. Okay, somebody send me the details of this legit contest. I want to see what this is all about. And do I know any other than us? No. It's a contest. Oh right. See, this is how much I'm involved in the kind of micromanagement of things. Not at all, right? There's just too much going on all the time. This is our own damn contest. I'm like, is this legit? I don't know of any. I don't know of any. And I tend to check out any projects that claim that they do as soon as they come on my radar, either from discovering them myself, or the team informs me, or guys in the community bring it up. So yeah, I don't know of any. And if there was any, then if I didn't know, I'm sure our good friend Florian would know about it, or Blindsight, or any number of other people in the community would have heard of one. So no, I don't. Which is a good thing. It means we've got a huge advantage when it comes to anything that requires, well, atomic commits across shard, right? Which is kind of important. Few words about OGs. Who are OGs? You mean you guys from like a million years ago when this whole thing started? I mean, yeah, it's like everybody is encapsulated in the message that I made for Twitter. I mean, there was what, maybe 100 or so people that really kind of helped me shape that vision back in the early days in 2013. Had a lot of conversations around what my ideas were, what other people's ideas were, where we thought this space would go. Because, like, I mean, back then there was maybe 5 cryptos. You had Bitcoin, you had Peercoin. I think Litecoin had only just launched as well. Some really old ones that no one probably remembers. Namecoin, Tenebrix. There was literally a handful compared to today. Satoshi had not long left. Nobody knew what was going to happen in terms of regulation. Nobody knew if this was just going to be an internet fad for a couple of years and die off. I mean, nobody really knew anything about where this was going to go, but there was so much potential for where it could go. And we just spent so much time like trying things, and like a lot of the early stuff that I did was one part focused on the kind of low level technical, on the consensus mechanisms and the Sybil mechanisms, and how do you scale this thing, how do you scale this technology so that you can, at the time, Visa scale seemed like a really good target to be able to compete with Visa. But then also a lot of time was spent just trying to find out, again, where are the limits of this technology, right? What can you do? What can't you do? Is it just transactions, or can you do other more interesting things like messages and chat rooms and marketplaces? So some of you guys will remember, I think back in 2014, I imported onto it would either have been the Blocktree or the first DAG implementation, imported like, you know, a few 100,000 eBay listings with pictures and everything and all the descriptions and the text and stuff. Imported all that content onto the ledger back then, you know, as an experiment of is a marketplace like eBay possible to do. You know, we had name systems before anybody was even thinking about name systems. We had tokens. We had, you know, we had games even back then. We could deploy applications, very self-contained applications, nothing like Scripto, but we had like an app store kind of thing where you could deploy applications and then other people on the network could pay for them, and you would get paid royalties for the number of downloads that you had. And most of this prototyping was happening between 2013 and 2015, and really not particularly relevant to the iteration being worked on at the time, but more a case of like what is the potential for this technology in general and as a whole. And yeah, it was really exciting to try out all those ideas. Built a DEX as well. I think the DEX was built in 2015. I mean, we were building prototypes of things for the most part way before anybody else, but they were never kind of meant for mainstream as such. It was more of a find the limits, right? Where does the technology break? Is it possible to build all these things? Is it possible to build a decentralized web with decentralized applications and features and all that kind of stuff? And then it kind of got to the point where, yeah, okay, I'm convinced, we're all pretty convinced that this is a general purpose technology at its core. It doesn't have just to be pigeonholed into some particular domains. So yeah, I can't remember what the original question was now. Again, another ramble. Okay, what else have we got? Yeah, a lot of them didn't go anywhere back in the day. Anybody remember Primecoin? The whole prime number discovery as a proof of work. Who did that? Sonny King. He did a couple of coins, I think, actually back in the day. I mean, yeah, it was an interesting time. Was my favorite part of the crypto journey to this point? Oof. I don't know, actually. It's been peppered with positives and negatives. Obviously, you know, a lot of you guys are aware of some of the negativity, shall I call it, over the years, which has made things difficult. And unfortunate events have happened, but at the same time, I remember some really, really rib cracking, hilariously funny evenings testing things out with the community. I mean, this, yeah, and like I said before as well, some of the conferences, even though they weren't really beneficial at the time, some of them were incredible as well. Some of the people that I've met have been incredible. It's always been fun to meet up with members of the community, old and new, you know, and have a few drinks and shoot the shit for a couple of hours. And but favorite, I don't feel like there's a favorite bit. It all just kind of merges into one experience, I think. Was I ever panicking that I would never find Serbi? It was such a massive field of possibilities to explore. A little, yeah, I think. We're getting to the point where I knew there was a solution. I knew there was a solution to this problem. But sometimes, you know, there's a bit of self-doubt. And anybody who knows me personally or has interacted with me personally is aware that I carry a lot of self-doubt around, which is healthy for the most part, right? It means I don't turn into an egoistic jerk for a start, and it means I'm always questioning the stuff that I'm producing as a means to make it better. But I think I think the biggest down point was when we had to move away from cast because it it didn't improve marginally on what the DAG implementation had achieved. And it was, once I realized that cast wasn't going to be the key either, I think that was probably the lowest point. I knew that there was a solution. I knew it was a solution, but there was quite a lot of doubt there for a while of maybe I'm just not smart enough. I know there's a solution. My intuition tells me there's a solution. My experience tells me there's a solution to this, but maybe I'm just not smart enough to find it. So yeah, that was a bit of time. Took a bit of time there to reset, kind of get myself together, and take a step back and think about, okay, but what's a different approach? And then that's how Tempo came around. And Tempo showed me that there's a solution. And the issues that we ran into with Tempo, I spent some time afterwards, just more of a personal curiosity more than anything of is Tempo really broken, or did it become broken? And so it turns out that actually Tempo is viable, but it doesn't have atomic composability. There's no way to build atomic composability into Tempo. So the issues that we had with the weak atom problem and the kind of secondary market stuff for the keys, for the mass, where the mass had very little intrinsic value, those two things, there are solutions for them, but it still misses the atomicity across shard. So the decision ultimately to abandon Tempo was correct. Maybe not for wholly the correct reasons, but it ultimately led into Cerberus. But Tempo showed me that a scalable architecture was possible, even though there was some question marks around the security model at the time. It did show me that, okay, there is an architecture here, the sharding architecture that was first investigated a couple of years prior, the whole kind of big shard space and all that kind of stuff. That all holds true, and you're able to implement a gossip protocol and kind of commitment proofs and stuff like that, so that you can have very large amounts of shard groups and you're able to communicate between them, and it can go, it can go fast, right? We proved that with Tempo, like 1.4 million transactions a second. So even though there was doubts at the time around, was the security model broken, or did we break it, kind of thing, it did show that there's an architecture that can do that, which in and of itself is very confidence inspiring. And then obviously we moved into Cerberus, which carries a lot of those learnings over from Tempo, and bits and pieces of the architecture, such as the shard space and how things move around and how the state moves around and all those bits and pieces. A lot of all of that is present in Cerberus, and a lot of it's carried into Cassandra. I mean, Cassandra's using block trees, right, which is the first thing I tried back in. It was actually before I even announced the project. It was the first thing I started messing with towards the end of 2012. So it's funny how things that were considered non-functional or obsolete actually get picked up again in later iterations. Who wins in an arm wrestle between you and peers? I'm going to say me, because I'm from the north, and you can't build that kind of motivation and resilience into somebody. Just don't quit. So I'm going to say me. However, if you said who wins in a fight, I'm going to say Piers because he's a judo expert. But arm wrestle, I'll take that one. Where do I rank myself as a Java programmer in the world? Okay, so this is where we get into some honesty, right? So I don't consider myself a great programmer. I don't consider myself a great mathematician. I don't consider myself a great physicist. There are people better than me at all those things, right? There's people on the team better than me at all those things. Where I think I have the edge is the ability to look at complex problems and to be able to figure out simple solutions to those problems, even if it does take 8 damn years, right? There's no technical problem I've ever encountered that I've not been able to solve, and I'm not sure why that is. Maybe that's because I follow these wacky rabbit holes, and I go into the domain of nonsensical and crazy, because there's always something to learn, right? There's always something to learn, and then being able to kind of put all those pieces together in my mind and like almost like a blueprint, right, of moving parts, and I can just see how they all interact and operate and stuff. I think that's my skill, is being able to break complex problems down into simple solutions and just kind of, I don't know, it's weird, kind of just know the interactions between them. I don't really have to think about it too much. I think that's where my edge is. Am I a good programmer? I hope so. Am I a good mathematician? I hope so. Am I a good, physicist? Whatever. I hope so. But yeah, that's where I think my main skill is. Hopefully, people that opinion matters to agree with me. The North remembers, indeed. I still have emoney.jar saved. Oh my god. Yeah, that theft was awful. That theft was awful. And it wasn't so much the theft or kind of what it cost me personally. It was just the logistics of like trying to get that much money from outside of the crypto ecosystem into the ecosystem so that I could give people their BTC back, right? That was just horrific, because there was no on-ramps, there was none of this infrastructure that you have today, right? It was just spinning 8 different plates and juggling some bag of balls, just trying to keep everybody happy enough, because I could only get a certain amount of money into the ecosystem at a certain speed to be able to go to the exchanges and places to kind of buy those Bitcoin back from my own pocket, and here guys, here's your Bitcoin, right? Yeah, that was just hell. I mean, yeah, obviously those Bitcoins getting stolen, and while it was an interesting way that it was done, let's say, respect for the way it was done, and obviously them going missing was one of our fuck kind of moments. Thankfully, I was in a position where I could make sure that everybody was made whole. But yeah, getting what was it, like $400,000-$500,000 worth of fiat into the ecosystem, and quickly. Yeah, that was a challenge. It was awful. Like today, I could do that in 3 days, right? It took forever. You're welcome. I'm glad you're having a lovely evening. Yeah, I should probably jump off soon, actually. So anyway, yeah. So thanks for all of the most wonderful donations. I mean, anybody that hasn't got the wallet yet, why? You should have the wallet. You can go into the Telegram group and you can get some free XRD. You can send tokens around. You can add messages to people and encrypt them. I will open that encrypted one after I've finished the stream as well. I'm not falling for any of that. It's safe, honest crap. You can obviously do your staking, and you can look at the validators and stuff, which is pretty cool. Definitely go to learn.radixdlt.com and learn about staking and how it works, and all the the kind of opportunities that you have there. And then obviously we've got transaction history, which is cool, and help, wallet settings, and obviously the address that you can send to people to receive XRD. Any idea when the Ledger app will be live? I get updates on that literally hourly. So I honestly, as of this second, don't know exactly. But it is, it's in process. It's not too far away. If you want to use your Ledger now, there's the whole sideloading guide thing you can do. But if you're not comfortable with that yet, it's not too far out. There's a lot moving on that end of things. I wouldn't want to give you an estimate now, and it's changed again, like it does every few hours at the moment. This is my wallet address. If you wanna send me a message that will forever be encoded in some of the first transactions on the Ledger, and also on a YouTube Twitch stream, then go ahead. Yes, XRD is a different coin for me. XRD, yes. No, so EXRD is the Ethereum wrapped version of XRD that is an ERC20 token, and then XRD is the native mainnet token, which has gone live today, and you'll very shortly InstaBridge will allow you to swap seamlessly from EXRD to XRD, and there's also some other kind of third parties as well that are going to provide that service. So you'll be able to go from one to the other as well. So if you've got XRD but there's something over in the Ethereum ecosystem that you want to go and use, then you can swap your XRD to EXRD nice and fast and seamlessly using InstaBridge. And then you can go and play around in the Ethereum ecosystem. And then when you've done whatever you want to do over there, if you want to move back into native XRD, then you can just come back the other way. A new bit of Radix art. Really? Ooh. Yeah. Okay. That's cool as shit. There's always so much detail in these. I'm going to have to spend 2 hours just taking this apart and figuring out what all the little Easter eggs in it are, like we did on the last one. So obviously there's Cassandra there, and there's the Cerberus on the staff. I'm guessing that's Zeus. There's some constellation, which probably means something. There's some stuff in the flames. Yeah, man, that's mega cool. So now I think I've got 3 pieces of artwork now I can have. I should have it printed on these blinds here, right? So when I do a Twitch stream, I can just roll the blinds down, and all this beautiful artwork is just on display behind me. I wonder if I can get the blinds printed on. I wonder if the landlords will mind to start with. I'm sure I can bribe them. Yes, thanks indeed. For commissioning these paintings. They are absolutely amazing. And please send me the original artwork like you have before. So I've got a good high resolution one. I will get around to getting some really good canvas prints of these. Okay, so I guess that probably wraps me up for the evening. It's 8:30. I need to eat. I just thought this would be cool to come and say hey to you guys. I know I've been promising to come back on Twitch for a little while, but just haven't had the opportunity. What with things going on and, well, yeah, everything. So yeah, I thought I'd just come on and say hey, share the wallet a little bit, chat with you guys, answer some questions as always. So yeah, cool. Godspeed. Thanks for your support, everybody, as always. And yeah, the party continues in Telegram. There's always a party in Telegram somewhere. So yeah, cool. Nice to speak to you guys again. See you all soon.